Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about both our October 1st and October 15th City Council meetings. Thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Here we are. I heard you were at a fire open house last weekend at the first one at our new fire station.
Yeah, we were hoping to have it there last year, and of course construction got delayed.
Yeah.
But last Saturday was the fire station open house at 3.
Yeah.
And it was just really well attended, and it worked out perfect. It was to be able to have all your resources in one spot. There was tours of the new building. There's hundreds of people there. It was very well attended. And of course, the LifeLink helicopter came flying in low at about 11 o'clock, and that was a big hit. And it was really nice.
Yeah, I'd asked them, are they still going to have the helicopters at this location? But really, there's still quite a bit of space over there with the parking lot, and then there's still Anoka Ramsey's parking lot.
Oh, we have so much space over there. But they were able to use the parking lot across the street for parking, plus barricade off a third of it for the helicopter.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And and it was so fun to see all the kids in their little firefighter costumes. They're ready for Halloween too.
Yes, spraying the fire hose and all that.
Spraying the fire hose, and then they borrowed something this year that was kind of cool. And it was an electronic fire, and then they had electronic fire extinguishers that showed you where to aim to put the fire out. I was aimed at the base. Yeah. And if you were successful, then you would put the fire out, and it was
nice.
It was kind of cool. So that made it a little fun. And then just all kinds of things going on up there.
All right. So we kind of used to have them at all 3 stations. Then we kind of moved to Sand Creek Park to do it all in one spot. And now it sounds like we might be at the new fire station 3 for a while.
Well, at least next year again. Well, we kind of got to the Sand Creek Park because we got shut down for the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then when we came back for the fire station open house, it was like, let's just do this outside.
Yeah.
So we went
bigger
to
area.
So we went to Sand Creek Park, and that really worked well to have all the resources in one spot. So now Fire Station 3 is so large, has so much concrete and so much parking around it from the college that it just works great.
All right. Well, if you didn't make it this year, mark your calendar next October. They'll be there again.
I thought you were going to give a date. I went,
I was like, I don't have the date yet. It's usually the Saturday of Fire Prevention Week.
There you go.
Is about when it happens.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's jump into council business here. We're going to start off first talking about our Tuesday, October 15th meeting. One of the first items there was proclaiming October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yeah, it's a real important thing to remind folks that you may not see it, but it's going on.
Right.
And to make people aware of it, and to acknowledge the great work of the Alexandra House, because we're one of the few places that has a shelter for folks that are struggling with domestic abuse. So we've got a lot of resources, and we just really want people to reach out for help if they are in that situation.
Yeah, and I know our police department partners with them and works with them. Also, we just covered something within the last month or so. They broke ground on a project, a pet haven, I believe it's called, but there's going to be pets in some of they're building runs or something for pets to be there, and that's starting in January at the Alexander House.
Well, that would make sense because a lot of folks aren't going to want to leave without their pets. Yeah.
So great project that they're doing there, and we hope to do a follow-up with them. But they broke ground on that just about a month or so ago. So, and then if you're driving by City Hall too, you should also notice at night, you'll notice the purple lights are on. That's another thing they ask you to do is to light up things at purple at night.
Yeah. So all of our exterior lights around City Hall are wrapped with a purple cellophane. So it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward, Council adopted a resolution approving Parks and Recreation Commission appointments. We have 2 new members, correct?
Correct. So we have a lot of great commissions that do a lot of work for the city, and this is the Park and Recs Commission. And for the most part, they pick their own folks to join them, and these folks have attended a meeting or 2, and the Parks Commission has said, yeah, we think they're a good fit, but then we still have to officially put them on the commission through the council. Okay. And so we would like to welcome Julie Rolfson and Kylie, and I think it's Umalac. Okay. It's Umolac.
Okay.
And I'm sure somebody at some point will go, "Are you kidding me? That's this." But
well, if you know, give us a call. Yeah. We'll know for the next time. So yeah, welcome them. And like you say, you did a lot of the work you do. You get a lot of work done at the commission level that recommendations get sent on to council.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, gosh, we've got so many commissions, and that's really the on-the-ground connection to what's going on and what we need to do. And yeah.
All right. Well, if anybody's interested in serving, we always mention this, but just go to the city's website, coonrapidsmn.gov, and you can actually fill out an application form and rank which commissions you'd be interested in serving.
Yeah, it's really nice. You get a list there, and it feels like, boy, I really want the Planning Commission. Just put that down as number one, and Arts Commission or Parks or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then when openings come up, they'll get in contact with you.
Yep.
All right, so moving forward, council accepted an easement agreement. This is for the Foley Boulevard monopole. This involves basically, that has to do with the whole water tower that the new one we're putting up, right?
Well, it's to do with the new one in that we are taking out the old one.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the old water tower that's up at Foley and Northdale, right next to the McDonald's there, we had to do an easement with McDonald's because Singular Wireless will be constructing a temporary monopole there so that they've still got their Singular Wireless signal around there. And that'll be happening like this month.
Yeah.
And then next spring, like between May and June, then we will be demolitioning the water tower, taking that down. And then from August to September, we'll be constructing the permanent monopole there.
Okay.
And then the singular antennas will go up onto that. Okay. The temporary one will go away. And then we will be open to, I think, two more wireless companies that may want to rent space on that pole.
Okay.
So, but this action was all about working with Jeff Smith at the McDonald's so that we could have space there for staging and for the temporary monopole, and and especially when we're dropping the big water tower, that requires some space as well. And so.
All right, and the new one you'll see now, you see it all around Coon Rapids if you haven't noticed yet, from Foley Boulevard and Coon Rapids Boulevard. It's near that intersection. They just recently finished painting the bowl.
Yeah, it's incredible. I didn't realize that when you're driving down Coon Rapids Boulevard, you're looking at it up there in the east. And of course we laid it out so that when you're going across 610, you would see the city's logos, or on Coon Rapids Boulevard near there. But I just didn't realize that how many places you're going to see it. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It's 1 million gallons.
Yes.
It's our one up on Hanson. Near the north end of Coon Rapids, that's a 2 million gallon bowl. And this is a 1 million gallon bowl.
All right.
And we're taking out a 500,000 gallon bowl.
That isn't even up to 500,000, right?
That we can only put 250,000 gallons in, or it overfills the other water towers.
Yeah. So once we get this other one online, we'll be good for any emergencies, fire suppression, adequate water flow, all of that.
Right. Yeah. And it's nice. It's down near the industrial park, where if you ever had an emergency, a big emergency down there, I think that's where you would want your water.
All right. And I learned more than I ever wanted to, I think, when I went out there to do some of that videoing on the water thing. But they have to be at a certain levels to maintain pressure, all the there's a lot of work that goes into figuring out how to do this.
They're all connected by a big main underground and water self levels, so they all have to be the same height. So there's a lot going on there.
All right.
And I would encourage anybody, if you have not seen it, to check out the CTN Studios videos. You've got videos on lifting the bowl into place. You've got videos on the painting. I mean, you've got some really cool drone footage. And
yes, it was cool when we sped up the one when they brought the bowl up. You just see it teetering on its way up to the top, and that was pretty cool to witness in person.
Yeah,
and they did it pretty quick and within a couple hours.
Yeah, originally they thought it might take up to 8.
Yeah,
and it just went boom. It was done.
Yeah,
and as so many things, uneventful. That's how we like them to go. Uneventful.
It didn't crash to the ground or anything, so I thought that was successful.
Yeah.
All right. Moving forward, council held a public hearing on establishing a housing improvement area for the Village Manor Condominium Association. We have not done one of these in a while, correct?
I think the last one we did was the condos, the carriage homes right off of Robinson Drive.
Felt like we were doing these for quite a few times for a while,
regular.
And then it stopped.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's to do with the age of them. But what happens is this is a little 8-unit carriage home, townhome association down Flora and 109th Avenue, kind of just down behind the Ice Center. And they've just got a lot of work they need to do with only 8 units. They don't have the resources or the reserves to take on big projects. So this sets them up with a housing improvement area where then the city will help facilitate financing for them to get all of the work done what they need. Whether it's roofs, garage doors, driveways, parking lots. It's a very wide scope of upgrades that can be done with it. And it just really gives them a refresh and kind of a restart. Then the city isn't liable for the money. We will recover, they'll pay back all the loans on it, but it really gives a nice refresh for housing units in town. But like you said, it's been used by many, many places to get them caught up.
Yeah, for a while, I think, and maybe that was some of the associations were learning they were maybe not getting enough into reserves, so they didn't have money to do these big projects. Hopefully some of that has been corrected in recent years, is maybe why we're not seeing as many. But yeah, it's been a great resource for those associations that need it. And again, you said like taxpayers aren't on the hook for any of this, correct?
Right. And it's not supposed to be. They're supposed to have their own reserves to keep their own work up. But at the same time, if they don't have them, we want to make sure that the housing stock stays nice. So this is a nice way to facilitate that.
Council adopted an ordinance authorizing the sale of real estate. This is at 12258 Crooked Lake Boulevard.
Yes. When they rebuilt the slip ramp in Crooked Lake Boulevard, I don't know, 25 years ago or whatever it was, the project, they bought up all the homes along that service road there. There were several homes there. And this was the last home. It was on the other side of 122nd. And apparently they didn't really need it at that time. So what they did is they bought the home and gave the owner a life estate. So for as long as they were alive, they could live in that home, and it was their home to use and to have. And I think she's in a nursing home. I still don't think she's passed. I think she's like 105.
Oh, wow.
It seems like one of the things that gives you longevity is having a life estate. There's a lot of these out there. But, but at any rate, they have finally turned it over to the city. And so we've done some testing. Our police did some drills there, and fire has done some things there. And now we were originally going to tear the home down, but it's actually pretty good bones. We really don't need the home for that project. We've got the Adeline project going on Highway 10 with all the sound walls. We don't need it for that. So it was decided that if we can, the home is currently built as a duplex, up and down duplex. So as long as the buyer converts it back to a single family, gets stairs back in the interior of the home, eliminates the curb cuts on 2 of the driveways, so we've just got one standard driveway up to the garage. And we sold it to an investor that's going to do all of that work, and then they will only sell it to an owner-occupant. So if you look at what it's sold for, I think it's sold for like $160-some thousand. It seems vastly under market, but it was sold with some very strict criteria to get an owner-occupant back in that home again. So this was adopting that ordinance. And any real estate we sell is done by ordinance.
All right, sounds good. Council introduced an ordinance establishing fees for 2025, and there's some, I know, different groups of fees in here, one including our water rates for 2025.
So it used to be, and you were involved in the research on this, if you needed to rent a room at the Civic Center or a building or a park gazebo or something at the Ice Center, or what am I paying for water rates? Or, we had all these numbers all over the place. And what they've worked on is consolidating all the fees into one publication. So you don't have to look everywhere to find out what something costs in the city. So this was getting them all in one book and then establishing the new fees for 2025. And for the most part, they're little like, 2.5% bumps. They go from like 165 to 170.
Yeah.
For the most part, they're not significant. There are a few that they realized that we were significantly under where we should have been based on staff costs. So there were other adjustments.
All right. But most of the time, it's usually just inflationary.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Right. Well, right, because any fee that we charge has to be justified by the staff time and what it costs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't. This isn't a profit deal.
Yeah. All right. So this will be coming back to council for final adoption. But again, you can go look at that. And really the water rates and that type of thing are not a surprise because you guys had a study done, and the study basically recommended that you needed to keep raising them for the coming years. Correct?
Yeah. Everything has gone up for water, and what we pay to get rid of the sewage to Met Council is going up. So we're stuck, and we are stewards, and we need to make sure that we are covering our expenses. Yeah. We don't want to get behind on our infrastructure reconstruction. So we've had to go much more than inflation increases on water and sewer.
Right.
And I'm sure everybody's feeling it and seeing it in their bills. But if we're not sure how else to do it.
Yeah, and those are self-sustaining funds, the water, sewer, and stormwater fund.
Yeah, they're enterprise funds. They have to support themselves. Correct.
All right, that is all we wanted to talk about on our October 15th. Jumping back to the first meeting, we actually had it on the first of the month. It was a Tuesday. We had a fun item here. You actually met the new police wellness dog in a work session, right? So you kind of got a preview, but he was actually introduced at the regular council meeting.
Yeah. So Can Do Canine provided a dog for our police department that's not the typical canine for helping as an officer in the field. It's an emotional support dog. Yeah. And his name is Gizmo, and it's a beautiful, beautiful black lab. Yeah. And they brought him into the workshop and talked to us about the process, and I met the dog at the workshop. And apparently, I got him a little revved up. So all of a sudden he went up and gave me a big kiss right in the lips. So at the council meeting, it was just supposed to be a handshake. So that's we kept it to.
You should have done the other part of the council. You needed to flip those.
But beautiful lab, and he's just great with kids if they've been through trauma. They'll if our fire department realizes they need them for emotional support for firefighters or people that they've found that have been through trauma. Yep. It's just a very wide range of things that he's going to be good for. Right. And everybody knows your blood pressure goes down when you're petting a calm dog. You calm animal. Yeah. And if kids have been through tough things where you're trying to get them to relax and talk to you, to be able to sit and hold the dog and play with the dog, and then hopefully they open up. So.
All right, and we'll be seeing more of Gizmo, I imagine, around town as the months go.
Yeah.
All right.
I would imagine he would be at Rocky's Pumpkin Patch Saturday.
Maybe Saturday. Maybe. That's coming up here the 19th of October.
19th of October,
at Sand Creek Park. All right.
Okay.
Moving forward, we have another event we want to talk about because of council approved a waiver of a fireworks display license fee for the Coon Rapids Community Strength Foundation. It's fall, so only one thing this could be would be our tree lighting, right?
This is our tree lighting, which is this year will be Saturday, December 14th. We didn't want to compete with the Anoka tree lighting again. Yes. And this particular item was to approve fireworks, and it's spectacular. Yeah. We've had the Coon Rapids, their show choir on the stage performing wonderful holiday songs, and then we count down, light up the tree, the choir starts singing, and the fireworks start going, and the choir's singing the whole time the fireworks are going, and there's like 5 minutes. There are people that go, my community's 4th of July show isn't this big.
Yeah, because the first year I thought it was just going to be like a couple fireworks shot up.
Yeah. It was like 5 full minutes.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. But people have been looking forward to this event now, and it's become a great event.
Yeah. And it runs from 3:30 to 6, but the key, and you'll have some time to get this down, 5:30 is when the tree is lit up.
Okay.
And dress warm.
Yeah.
Because no matter how unseasonably warm it might be, it will be cold.
Yeah. Once you're standing out there for a while.
Yep.
All right. We had another fun item, actually. This is, I know it's on sale wine, 3.2 malt, strong beer, and Sunday liquor licensing. Yep. The fun part I want to talk about there's a new owner of Pizza Hut.
Pizza what?
Or sorry, Pizza. Sorry. My pizza's mixed up. Pizza Flame. Sorry. Pizza Flame. We have a new owner, third owner of that, and they're bringing back alcohol.
Yeah. Pizza Flame has been an important part of Coon Rapids since the 70s.
I mean, Pizza Hut was here at one point.
They were at one point, yeah. It was, and so was Keno's. But Pizza Flame is still here.
Yeah, going strong, it sounds like.
And the new owner has worked there for 6 years and now was at the council meeting to introduce himself. And Tyler Burgoyne, I think his name is. And it's remarkable. He's 21 years old. Yeah. But he just has this passion for keeping Pizza Flame like it, the same recipes, same great thing, same great pizza we're used to, but bringing back some of the things that have kind of gone away over the years, which
and
includes,
some of that was due to COVID.
Yeah. So it's nice. And again, you guys, CTN did a nice special on him.
Yeah, it was great to meet him, and so people do support him. I know people will still go out there and support him. But yeah, alcohol is back. They're also open now every night. They're open Mondays. They were closed on Mondays for a while, so they're open Monday evenings again. And then they've also added online ordering, which has been a great thing. So you can go on and order online.
Ooh, I haven't seen that yet.
So yeah, getting into the modern era here. But congratulations to him, and hope things keep going well there at Pizza Flame.
Congratulations to them, and it's good for us.
Yeah, certainly. All right, council adopted an ordinance amending city code, section 5-1500. This is prohibited practices for solicitors. I know this is a big one. People do have some complaints about solicitors.
Well, they do, and what we do is we require solicitors to come in and get licensed with the city so that we can do a background check and we can make sure they don't have a lot of complaints against them or criminal backgrounds.
Yeah.
So what we did, though, is we added two things. We added to our peddlers ordinance. They cannot create a public nuisance, and they cannot, if they're doing sales at the door, they can't do any knowingly misleading statements. Okay. So it calls them, I guess, just a good behavior.
Okay.
But I guess that this is a good time to remind folks to make sure that anybody that comes to your door has to have a license from the city that they'd wear. It's displayed, and that gives you some. It doesn't say you should buy what they're selling. It just says that we've done a background check on them.
Okay. And again, most of this stuff is for sales, right? The door-to-door solicitor is sales. Yeah. It's obviously election season, so candidates can come knock on your door and talk about
issues. Candidates can come and knock on your door no matter what. If you've got a no solicitor's license, if you have whatever it is, candidates are welcome to knock on your door.
And then sometimes a kid selling things door-to-door, well, that's also exempt.
Yep.
All right.
If they're there for the high school.
Yeah.
Or one of the,
or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right, council adopted a resolution accepting a DWI grant from the state of Minnesota. I guess it's great that we keep getting this funding from the state to fund this position.
Yeah, I don't know how many years we've done this, but this funds an officer to work DWIs, and that's all he can do. But if we need him to help with something else, he can break away, come and help, but then he has to go back and do the DWIs again.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of information on that. I didn't write anything down.
That's all right. We keep having it. I know they're usually busy on Highway 10 out there.
Yep.
So we have another one that's sort of related to traffic safety here. This is a resolution accepting a safe road zone grant and approve the grant agreement with the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, and this was sort of a takeoff from last June.
Yeah.
But I think we just got a little extra money, so we had to kind of do it again.
Yep, and there's some education components of this as well.
Yeah, it creates a safe road. It's a safe road zone grant for education, public awareness, behavior modification, and traffic engineering efforts on Northdale Boulevard between Hanson and University Avenue. So everything from that new car wash, east over to Blaine on Northdale.
Okay.
Which will include trying to slow traffic down.
Yeah, and that road, I believe, is 35 a lot of the way. It's maybe 45 in some segments, but I imagine they'll be focusing on that 35 mile an hour stretch a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's 45 until you get to the tracks or thereabouts or Exeon, and then it drops to 35 for the rest of that. And since it's been repaved, it's really smooth, flat, and straight, and so got to get people slowed down. There's a lot of kids and a lot of things going on up there.
Yeah. All right. One other item here we want to talk about. Council considered the appointment of election judges, approved their salaries, and set the canvass date for the general election results. This is now we're less than 3 weeks away.
We're right in it, aren't we?
Home stretch.
Yeah. And starting the 18th, which is, it'll be tomorrow, Friday.
Yep.
So October 18th, you'll be able to do direct balloting. So right now, if you go in and vote to the Civic Center today, you'll put it in an envelope, and then it'll get run through the machine on Election Day.
Yep.
If you go in anytime between tomorrow and the general election, you'll actually be able to vote and put it into the machine.
Okay.
And then they're going to be open both Saturdays for election or for voting, and then the Sunday before the general election.
Yeah, basically there's additional absentee voting hours this year that were part of, I think, approved in the last legislative session to allow people more time to vote absentee.
You have absolutely no excuse to not vote.
Right.
I mean, you don't have an excuse.
Yeah, it's general hours right now, City Hall hours up until Election Day, and then these extended hours as well. You can find out much more by going to the city's website. All the hours are listed there, and anything else you need to know about absentee voting.
Yeah.
All right. And then we should remind folks the next council meeting should be on election night. So we can't have a meeting until the polls close. So the meeting is actually moved to the next day, which is Wednesday, November 6th.
Are you sure?
We didn't go Monday.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what's advertised. So Wednesday the 6th will be our next council meeting. So obviously tune in for all the results. And then one other item we wanted to talk about before we go, some exciting news going on up at Bunker Hills, correct?
At Bunker Hills. So in 2010, they tore down the old clubhouse and built a new clubhouse, and they set up an area in the end of the event center because they wanted the Seasons Dinner Theater to come back.
Yes.
And then couldn't make it work. And the dinner theater went to another venue. And we have wanted that dinner theater back in Coon Rapids ever since they left. Yeah. And this year, they're coming back. So we have the Seasons Dinner Theater, which is the Tom and Patty McCarthy. Yeah. And they're going to be back at Kendall's in the Bunker Hills Event Center with their Oak Crud, It's Christmas. And if you've never been to they're great plays. And if you have been there, you know how good they are.
You'll want to go back each year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They've always been great. We've always done when they were at least at Bunker Hills. Each year did a preview of their show, and they're always just funny and great to see. So if you haven't, get out there and check them out. They'll be back here in Coon Rapids. It's great.
Very excited.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
All right. When I see you the next time, or whoever I see, the election will be over, and we'll know we have obviously 4 seats on the ballot. 4 city council seats that are up for election.
Yeah, two are uncontested. Yep. So we know they'll be back unless things go horribly wrong.
Yep. Yes.
And then the other 2 are contested.
Yep.
And so we'll have 2 new council members next year.
First of the year. All right. Well, thank you for being here today and talking to us. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back here again after our 2 meetings in November.